What is up, my beautiful people? My name is G-Vance and welcome back to my channel. And today we're going to be talking about the new album by Tee Grizzley entitled The Smartest. This is the third mixtape by Tee Grizzley, which comes to us about almost a year since his second studio album entitled Scriptures came out last year in the summer. And in my opinion, that album was really fucking good. I think that, in my opinion, is Tee Grizzley's best album ever. I found myself enjoying almost every track on that album. It was like produced by Tim Ballin, I know that, and I really was really excited for Tee Grizzley after I heard that album. I honestly was really excited to see what else he was gonna do next. So as the music scene in Detroit has been a bit low key this year, I started to realize Tee Grizzley attempts to bring light to a city with his first project of the year. Although I do have some positive things to say about this album, I personally do believe that this is not the best project that Tee Grizzley has ever made. I do really love that Tee Grizzley is showing some obvious growth and maturity throughout this whole album as he is slowly becoming the artist that he really wants to become and that he's always wanted to become. And I honestly can't really get mad at that. I do love that he's realizing that he is he's evolving more as an artist, and that he's obviously trying to get better and trying to find his signature style to get people to really recognize him as Tee Grizzley and not somebody that reminds him of somebody else. The second track on this album is called I Apologize, and Tee Grizzley is pretty much apologizing to his fans and to the whole world in general because he used to just focus a lot on making a bunch of catchy top charting singles, and instead of trying to make a decent project for everyone to enjoy, which I think is really mature of Tee Grizzley. I really love how he is now realizing that the rap industry is more than just these boring catchy singles that people are going to forget in 3 months, and it's more about making a project that the whole world is going to remember 5 years from now, and to pretty much make the music that you really like and appreciate, because the moment people see that you really love the music that you make, then they will also start appreciating your music as well. I also really love that this album has its Black Lives Matter moments, as Tee Grizzley is, being an advocate for not only Black Lives Matter, but, the no room for racism, and that, silence supports violence and shit like that. So I do really love that Tee Grizzley is following in the footsteps of his fellow celebrities to once again be an advocate and a voice to those who are tired of being oppressed. However, my problem with this album is that it just has its really big mediocre moments for me, and it has everything to do with Tee Grizzley himself, unfortunately. Tee Grizzley became a really hit or miss artist for me when I was first getting into his music, because on one hand, Tee Grizzley is a really decent rapper in my opinion, who has a lot of obvious potential that he has proved in a lot of his past projects and just a lot of the past songs that he has done so far. On the other hand, Tee Grizzley does have those few tracks and moments where you can obviously tell that he was just half-assing them and kind of didn't put any thought into them, and this album, in my opinion, was the perfect example of Tee Grizzley half-assing half the fucking tracks on this project. Tee Grizzley's flow on this album is not as good as it could be, and his lyricism at some points were a bit laughable, unfortunately. The production value on this album isn't that special in my opinion. I do think it's really catchy. I do think it has it's really memorable moments sometimes, but it just overall feels like the kind of shit that Tee Grizzley has been doing for a very long time now, and I guess I was just hoping for something a lot more different. There were just a lot of tracks on this album for me that were a bit boring, unfortunately, and it's really unfortunate because I found myself enjoying almost every track from his album Scriptures. I once again think that album was the best shit that Tee Grizzley has ever dropped, and I was so excited to see what else he was gonna do next. I was really hoping that he would have a fucking come up finally after that album, and to me this project was just a really big fucking step down, unfortunately. The only thing keeping this album from being completely unenjoyable is the fact that Tee Grizzley's flow and attitude and just energy in general gets a lot more better uh, during like the final few tracks of the album, and because the guest list on here is a really big highlight for me, at least, as Tee Grizzley teams up with a lot of talented rappers and artists of the new school. And although I could talk about all of them, I do want to talk about a few of my favorite tracks with the features. Big Sean makes an appearance on this album on a track entitled Trenches, which that one might be my favorite track because it's a really great hardcore lyrical banger. You know, Big Sean is one of my favorite rappers of all time, and I think he sounded super good next to Tee Grizzley. And Tee Grizzley's flow got a lot more better on this song because I felt that he was like trying to keep up with Big Sean. You know, Big Sean having like more skills than him, in my opinion. And you know, it just overall felt like a sort of like Detroit versus everybody sort of vibe. And I just really love that track with Big Sean. I think that's when it started to like pick up a bit, you know, because Big Sean came to kind of like save the album for me, at least. And it's just overall a really good song. Lil Keed also shows up on this album on a track entitled Slime, and that one has that more of a gangsta feel to it. And I honestly think it's a really good modern gangsta song. You know, I don't think I ever knew who Lil Keed was. I think I might have heard that name at least once or twice, but this was the first time I've heard Lil Keed on anything, and I think he is not that bad. You know, he does have a really like hardcore voice. You know, he has a really aggressive flow, and Tee Grizzley obviously changed his voice a bit to go well with Lil Keed's voice on here, and that song just overall sounded like a really nostalgic early 90s like really aggressive old school gangsta song, in my opinion. And finally, Tee Grizzley joins forces with the Detroit Youth Choir and Queen Nasia on a track entitled Mr. Officer, and that one is a really powerful song against police brutality, you know, as Tee Grizzley is, you know, telling stories of the many friends he's lost because of police brutality. Just, you know, sort of looking at the history of racism and how it's still very alive today. And I just really enjoyed that really soulful song. You know, it kind of gives you hope that everything will be okay, but at the same time it makes you really sad because, you know, it is 2020, and you know, the fact that police like killing innocent black people for no reason is still going on today. You know, it's just a really like tough and really like sad thing to think about, for me at least. I even like Lil Baby's feature on this album. You know, he shows up on a track entitled Covid, which is an obvious song about how COVID-19 has been affecting everybody in the entire world. And I really enjoyed it, and I don't know why. You know, I don't like Lil Baby's music whatsoever. I think he is one of the most obnoxious rappers in our modern world, and I really enjoyed it. You know, I even thought he sounded a lot more decent and low-key a lot more better than Tee Grizzley on this album. Like, I don't know if that should be good or bad, but it's just weird. I actually enjoyed something that Lil Baby did. Overall, this project is just a really okay album with maybe 5 or 6 tracks that I personally enjoyed. But besides those tracks, I don't think I recommend anybody to hear this whole album because honestly, I don't think it's his best work yet. I do recommend that you do hear Scriptures and, you know, maybe the first album that he came out with after he came out of jail. You know, I just don't think this project should like be of anybody's like concern because besides those few tracks, it is a bit of a waste of time, unfortunately. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed my review. Just a friendly reminder that I am doing a Q&A video with the boys soon to celebrate 200 subscribers on my channel. So please, if you have any questions about me or the boys that you want to know, please leave them in the comment section down below, and I will try my very best to answer them. So yeah, please leave those questions down there. And with that being said, don't forget to like, subscribe, click that bell down below, all that good stuff so you don't miss a single one of my uploads whatsoever. And don't forget to stay happy.
Hey, I went to Cody and Dixon. $3 to my name, got a juice in the McChicken. Calling some Coney, it's gonna be done in 20 minutes. Don't go up there without no strap, might have to bang it out with some niggas. Wait, hold up.